Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rich Salad Show. We are back with another week of exciting topics, including Invincible trailer, the new Invincible trailer. Hell yeah. We're getting into Masters of the Universe. Hell yeah. We're getting into some Oscar nominations. The Oscar nominations came out recently, and we're going to get into it all here. We're going to bring in our guy, David. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. And yeah, two words. Hell freaking yeah. That's three. That is three words. But Invincible, Masters of the Universe, Oscars. Let's get into it.
Yes, that and a whole lot more. Before we begin, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate it here. We're trying to grow this channel here. We're giving it all we got. But with that being said, let's get into our first topic. Invincible trailer coming at us hot this week. And I mean, when I think back to the special feeling that this show made me feel, that very first episode, David, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The ending of that first episode just blew our minds and kept us engaged throughout that first season so much because of the just peril that the family was going through, that Mark and his father and his mother, Debbie Grayson, and we see all of them in this trailer. Um, man, Invincible is just one of those special shows that keeps coming back, or at least tries to keep coming back every year, even though there was some spells where there was some delays, which was not fun. But regardless, every time the show came back, it was a fun time. Now, getting into season four, now, I mean, coming off of season three, and we did talk about that when they first dropped the teaser, it was funny because one of our very first topics on the show was Invincible, the teaser, which is pretty neat. So that's a nice nostalgic pull. But I mean, coming off of season three, I wasn't I wasn't ecstatic about it, honestly. I think there were some excellent moments. I mean, especially like the whole like doppelganger Mark episode was epic, and seeing all the different versions of himself just it was horrible to see them murking everyone across the entire planet. But seeing Mark deal with that peril was it was devastating, but also just really just it was so emphatic just seeing him deal with all that. Yeah, seeing more with Alan the alien. I mean, he's slowly become one of my favorite characters. Over the course of each season, he just keeps getting better, and the fact that they tied him into Nolan and really tying them together and just giving because of the personality of Alan is bringing more personality out of Nolan and just giving him more of that humanity. Even though the irony there is, Alan is not a human; he's a straight up alien, and just a super fun character. But David, what say you about this recent trailer? I know we got a lot of stuff. Anything that kicked your mind?
I really love the how the creators do a good job of catering to the fans and really listening to fans. And they did that with the teaser. And this trailer felt just as epic, I think, as a trailer could feel. And like you said, from the very first episode, you're kind of engrossed and enveloped in the world of the superheroes and the people, the different characters and the different powers, and the dad and son dynamic of Nolan and Mark. And you're like, okay, this is like pretty cool. Like I can work with this. Like it's a really interesting. And then it ends, and the climactic moment at the end of season one, episode one, you're like, holy cow, this is gonna be this is different. This is a wild ride. Like this is insane. And I think a lot of other shows are trying to replicate that pilot style episode where the viewer is just blown out of their seat. They're completely blown away, and it's shattered their expectations. So many shows, I think, are going to try to do that just simply based off of Invincible. What I'm really looking forward to in this season is some really epic fights. It seems like there was a lot of people coming back. We saw the lion guy. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Battle Beast.
We saw Battle Beast,
Dude,
and
and Battle Beast, like, I remember the first time we were introduced to him, and he destroyed Mark. I mean, like, it was crazy. I mean, it was that was one of those fantastic episodes of season one where, I mean, it just teed you up for the rest of the show that, like, your protagonist is gonna get the shit kicked out of him nonstop. And Battle Beast was like
Yeah.
it was like the worst. It still seems like.
Yeah, and, it's a running joke that Mark just loses all the fights and gets just beat up all the time. You can see from that screenshot right there. And Battle Beast was a very kind of impactful moment in that first season, and we haven't really gotten a whole lot of them since, but just being able to see him just wreck
Yeah.
and
Well,
come in.
even in last season when because he was on that Viltrumite ship too,
Right.
and seeing him like he's so thrilled for the battle, and
Mhm.
like when they got sucked out of like into space, and he was still like going after that one Viltrumite. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's so good. We're getting probably get some more Viltrumite action, and you can always expect some pretty creative and fantastical gore scenes with Invincible, and they don't shy away from it. And I think that's unique, and I think that's interesting. Don't let your kids watch it,
Yeah,
but
it's a little, it's a tad too gory.
yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait for season 4. It's my feed is gonna be just blowing up. The Invincible fans are rabid. I mean,
Yeah,
they are rabid in terms of the memes, really. It's really the memes.
I know.
So,
I know for
I'm
you, it's the
looking
meme.
looking forward to seeing, "Where's Omni-Man?
Oh my
Are you
god.
sure?" Explode on my feed, so
Oh, that's so good. I love this shot too, because I know before I saw the trailer, this shot was everywhere, and it's the thumbnail for the trailer as well, where it's all your heroes that are gonna take on, this Viltrumite empire, and was super cool, and I've heard his name, Thrag, from the comics. He is a force. And his voice too, which is voiced by Lee Pace, who so he played Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy. He has a great voice, but the way he's playing Thrag is it's like smooth and deep, which I really like. So it's for a big bad to have that almost like smooth talking voice, almost kind of like Thanos. Like Josh Brolin has a smooth voice, but it's deep. I think
Mhm,
that's a really nice balance to have because like you could have a villainous voice that's really high, like a Joker, that could be just very like yeah, like all that stuff
mhm,
and could be potentially annoying. Like not all Jokers are like that, but some are. Having this emphatic voice that's smooth yet broad is very exciting, and I'm curious to see what he's gonna do. I mean,
mhm,
it's gonna be brutal. I know a big thing of this trailer too was Mark, and they tackled it towards the beginning, was just him dealing with his trauma. And it seems like ever since he fought his father, he's been fighting through that nonstop. Every season he's trying to get through it. And even like his fighting his fights with Angstrom Levy, like man, I mean that broke him. It
mhm,
was brutal. And then even when Angstrom came back, and all like the doppelganger war was just mayhem, but still like Mark was still battling with that in himself, and even still post that he still is like in this trailer. And then we're seeing Eve is having some problems with her abilities. It honestly seems like it's a rite of passage for every superhero character to have some sort of setback with their powers, or it just doesn't work. It seems like with every superhero this happens. It's yeah, we'll see how it works. There was a quick shot in here, right here, yeah, where Nolan and Debbie, like a big thing in when Nolan was on the Viltrumite ship when he was trapped, and Alan was telepathically talking to him, and Nolan was like, "I think I want to see my wife." And, like,
mhm,
just his realization of that was so pure and, like, genuine, like, one of the most
mhm,
genuine things that has never came out of Nolan's mouth, which was so
mhm,
cool to see, and, like, especially coming back to like, I still love that opener. Was it of season 2 or 3 when he was floating into the black hole? He was gonna off himself,
yeah,
and, like, that's just truly like, multiple times we see him showcase the just like, just the pure depression that he's felt post, the end of season 1, which is great because that is such a taxing thing that has happened to everyone in this show that I love that they still talk on that because that was such a big event. And I know David, that was memed a lot too.
Yeah.
That whole yeah, I know, I definitely know that was memed a lot,
This,
which was fun.
I really like this shot right here
No,
because Debbie looks like the villain, you
yeah,
know? You see,
she's silhouetted.
yes, and the way that they brought the camera panned into it was really cool. Debbie is, in terms of physical strength, meaningless in comparison to
Right.
Nolan, but
Yeah.
in terms of the emotional, you know, the emotional strength and relationship strength, she's in reality the villain because Nolan is going to have to face that.
Right. Yeah, that's not a villain you wanna really, uh,
No.
yeah, that's gonna be tough. I mean, it's probably tough to watch, but really good for both of these characters. 'Cause
Hmm.
I mean, like, even even in previous seasons when Debbie's trying to date and but still, like, Nolan is still a part of her, and she
Hmm.
hates that, but he's still a
Hmm.
part of her. Constantly, I think I'm realizing how great this show is.
Yeah.
Just those dynamics, those real human dynamics within this spectacular world that they build is great, and I think that's what makes great superhero television. That's what makes great fantasy television or movies, like when you have the fantastical, like John Campea always says, when you have the mundane within the fantastical, and to juxtapose those two really creates a human connection within a spectacular world. There was one more thing I want to touch, which was Peter Cullen, who David, do you know who Peter Cullen is?
Sounds familiar.
So he's the voice of Optimus Prime. But in this show, he's the voice of Thetis, who's Thetis, the great Thetis. Let's see if I could find it. But he's the like the high council guy that Alan kind of was like in his ranks with the
Okay.
beard who turned out to be a Viltrumite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's doing the voiceover in like the back half of this. And it's just this great epic telling of what's coming and like what Mark is dealing with and Nolan and all them and the whole gang. It was like, okay, this is setting up to be something spectacular and just really fun.
Hmm.
But that's our thoughts on Invincible, guys. Let us know your thoughts if you're excited for this coming season. It's coming in March. It's coming hot. It's coming quick. We're excited for it. Let us know if you guys are too. All right, guys, with that down, we're moving on to some Masters of the Universe. So, yes, we're getting into the world of Motu. And David, I'm curious, do you have any prior knowledge to Masters of the Universe or of the action figures of the cartoon by chance?
So I don't, I don't really have much knowledge.
I don't either. Yeah.
But when I watched the trailer and I was like, this seems familiar.
Hmm.
And I was like, wait, that's where the meme is from. It's from this guy. And like I've seen a ridiculous amount of memes related to this. And I think that just goes to show that like memes are just gonna be movies now. Like the Minecraft movie last year was literally just a meme. It was just a meme,
It
and it
was.
made
And it made a
it
lot of money.
it made a ridiculous amount of money, but it
Yeah.
also had one of the craziest moments in theaters last year when people were screaming chicken jockey at the chicken jockey part and tossing popcorn everywhere and going nuts like it was some kind of like big deal.
Yeah.
Like that's it's awesome that that happens. Now, if anyone is ever doing that, okay, if you're ever doing that, pick up after yourself, okay? Don't leave the employees to do that for you. Okay, bringing like so many people my age and younger are like going to see this and they're going to, oh wait, that's from the meme. And that's what's gonna like bring them into it to watch the movie. That I mean, it honestly looked really cool. I really liked the way this trailer looked.
It looks great.
Um Initially I didn't because I didn't understand that it was like from like I didn't understand the IP. And when I understood that, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm like, "Oh, wait, that's from the meme." And it almost feels like it feels very, like video gamey,
Oh, yeah.
like kinda over the top, kind of a mix between I don't wanna say anime, but, like,
Yeah, I could totally see that. It has, like, anime inspirations.
yeah, like, kinda anime fight style mixed with live action. So I'm really interested to see how that looks. It reminds me of when we had talked about Street Fighter coming out this year
Mhm.
and how that fighting style is gonna be very over the top, kind of
Very over the top.
very over the top for purposes of that, it's from a video game that is over the top, in terms of fighting. So it looks really interesting. I'm excited to see it. Memes are basically movies now.
That is a great headline because yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, for me, Masters of the Universe, I've always known about it. I tried to watch Kevin Smith, one of my favorite people slash filmmakers. He created Netflix's Masters of the Universe show that came out. I want to say maybe about maybe about 5 years ago, could be more or less. And it was kind of polarizing for people because you had a lot of the OG Motu fans who were like, "This is not Masters of the Universe," and then you had like new fans who liked it a lot. So it was kind of a polarizing show. And like again, so I tried to watch it. It was good, but I knew it just wasn't for me. Visually, it was cool. It was a nice animation style to it, but it just didn't tie to me. But for me, I prefer live action over anything for the most part. And of course, in the theater, and this is going straight to the theater, so I'm going to be there no matter what. But the experience of this looks like it's going to be really fun. And I know going into this, the Masters of the Universe fans, they were gonna either cry about it, bitch about it, but from what I'm seeing, they are loving it, which is awesome to see. I was Once I saw the trailer, I was like, "All right, let's see these comments. What are people thinking?" And everyone was digging it. I was like, finally, like, yes, I love to see that."
Let's
So I've
go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm so hyped for people to see this. People who are just true Motu fans, it's great for them. And for someone like us who don't really know about this, who want a fun theatrical experience, we're probably going to get that. And especially with the director behind this, Travis Knight, who directed Bumblebee, which is a great film. He knows how to balance tone really well because you have super silly moments in there, but you also have great emotion in there as well. So hopefully we get that in Masters of the Universe. Lots of this cast seems pretty great. The guy who plays He-Man, Nicholas Galitzine, he's I wouldn't say he's like a nobody actor, but he's definitely not a known name for sure. So this could potentially boost him up there if he does a great job. It's funny, like casting as He-Man, you have to get someone who's gigantic,
Yeah.
but you have to temper your expectations because there's only a handful of people in the world that are that big and can act, and it's really tough. Like most often, you're not going to find someone that big who can act. So you kind of have to, weigh your options in. And Nicholas got in just ridiculous shape for this. And yeah, I mean, we get some sweet action shots here. So I really hope the action flows really well. Like this sequence right here is great. It's a nice long take. And the big question too, and I'm so sick of this, is the hate over Jared Leto because he's playing Skeletor, which Jesus, man, he looks freaking awesome,
That looks so cool. That
right?
looks so
It
good.
looks
Yeah.
so good. But people just don't like Jared Leto. And when I was looking at the comments, they're like, "Yes, a Jared Leto appearance where we can't see his face." And I'm like, "Come on, guys.
That's
Come
brutal.
on." Yeah,
That's
I mean, he's
brutal.
he's an Academy Award caliber actor. I'm pretty sure he won an Academy Award. And he just gets shat on for no reason. I thought he was great in the Tron movie that came out last year, but that's just how it is. So, but regardless, I mean, Skeletor, man, does he look fantastic. And then, of course, we get a quick fight sequence between him and He-Man, which looks great.
It
Like,
looks so cool.
yeah, visually, I think we're gonna all be happy. Story-wise, I know some people were kind of taken aback by Prince Adam, being from not from Earth, but he's been on Earth for a substantial amount of time. And I guess that didn't happen in the original lore, which, whatever. I mean, this isn't an adaptation. You're gonna find differences here and there, and I think that's
Mhm.
that's just how it happens in adaptations. But I'm curious to see that because I kind of like that decision because it ties him more to humanity and we were saying, I think we just said in the Invincible topic, like the moment you tie the fantastical within the mundane, like that creates a better connection to humanity, and we can connect
Mhm.
these characters that are fantastical. So that's always a fun time. But yeah, guys, that's our thoughts on Masters of the Universe. Let us know what you thought of the trailer. Are you excited for it? Curious to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, we are moving on to our next topic, which we are getting into some Oscar news. So, the Oscars nominations came out this week, and we'll kind of go over, I'll give my rundown of, I guess, what my thoughts are on each category and what I think might win. Now, I've not seen every film, but I've garnered enough info on most of the films to kind of have an idea, especially some of the actors as well. We'll get into this comes to us from CNN, the nominees of the Oscars of 2026. When it comes to Oscar nominations, Sinners has already won. The 98th Academy Award nominations were announced Thursday, and Ryan Coogler's period vampire horror hit broke the record for most nominations for a single feature with 16, overcoming the past title holders All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land, which had 14. So, yeah, we'll get into Best Picture first. So, when it comes to Best Picture, I've seen like half of these. So I've seen Begonia, seen F1, which is it was surprising to see F1 get a nomination for Best Picture, which is
Yeah, that
pretty
is surprising.
right. It's it's pretty sweet because that means the Academy did appreciate what the film did, which is pretty neat. That was nice. Hamnet, I have not seen. Frankenstein, I've not seen. Marty Supreme, I've saw. One Battle After Another, saw. Secret Agent, not seen. Sentimental Value, have not seen. Sinners, have seen. Train Dreams, have not seen. But it seems like with Best Picture, the front runner is definitely One Battle After Another because from the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice Awards, it won Best Dramatic Film and Best Picture in both of those events. So it is the favorite. Plus, like, and I think we'll get into this question soon, but I wanted to put the question like, what makes the Best Picture? Because I feel like it's a very loaded question, but I was curious your thoughts, David, on that. But we'll get into that in a bit. But if I were to choose Best Picture, it's definitely between Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Those are the three. And what's interesting about Sinners, and what's cool, that it got 17 or 16 nominations. It's just a force of a film from top to bottom, cinematography, production, acting, music. It's a powerhouse. But the one thing it has, in my opinion, detracting to be able to win is the fact that it is partly a genre film, and we'll get into it once we talk about what makes the Best Picture. But it seems like there is this thing with the Oscars is that when it comes to genre films like horror or superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, stuff like that, they're kind of knocked and they're not treated as like the all being kind of film, which I get, but I also would push back because like you can do more things within those genres. And I think Sinners is a great example of that because it ties basically two genres where it's the vampire action thriller, but you have this really like neat look at the deep south and these brothers trying to build a juke joint, and the music is lively, the atmosphere is lively. It's a really neat film. So it's definitely between one battle after another and Marty Supreme, which both I saw and they were fantastic. But One Battle After Another is a powerhouse of a film from top to bottom. Yeah, I mean, it's just fantastic from top to bottom. The acting, the ensemble cast, the music, how long it is. It's a dense film. Like for me, it's a lot of movie to chew on, which didn't because it almost made my top 10 of the year last year, but it's just a little too much movie for me. But I could totally see why it's winning everything. So Paul Thomas Anderson is killing with that. So for my pick for Best Picture, definitely going to One Battle After Another. Best Director,
I have a
that's
quick question.
yeah.
So, just about Best Picture, and you were talking about like how the Academy chooses it. Like, I guess I'm starting to get confused. Why wouldn't it be the best movie?
Well, I mean, that's technically what they are choosing. Like,
Hmm.
what is the best movie of 2025?
Okay, but you say they like knock like genre films because like I didn't see
Yeah.
Avatar on there.
Yeah. That's like I said, we'll get into it more
Okay. Okay.
because it is a very interesting question. It's tricky. It's a really tricky thing because I've been in the film sphere for a little bit of time. I've I can understand why what is being chosen as best picture. It's a little hard to explain, but I made some notes and yeah, we'll go over it in a sec. So
Okay.
we'll go into best director. It seems like it's going definitely to Paul Thomas Anderson with One Battle After Another. Again, powerhouse of a film from top to bottom. Ryan Coogler directed the hell out of Sinners. It'd be great to see him get that. So I'd say, in my opinion, for best director, it's probably, I mean, it's probably still a three-horse race with PTA, Josh Safdie, and Ryan Coogler. All those three films, Marty Supreme, One Battle, and Sinners. Like, it could be anyone, but it seems like it's going to Paul Thomas Anderson. Best actress, it's totally going to Jessie Buckley. She's won all these recent award shows coming into the Oscars, and you have the SAG Awards coming up soon, the Actors Awards. So if she wins that, usually whoever wins in the Actors Awards is most likely going to win in the Oscars. Doesn't always happen, but that's usually like the odds-on favorite to do so. So Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, most likely winning for sure. Best Actor, it's totally between Leo and Chalamet. But for right now, it seems like Chalamet is the guy because he keeps winning everything. I could totally see the comparisons between them because, well, of course, both give fantastic performances. But the big thing with Timothy is that it's like Marty Supreme is his film, as opposed to One Battle After Another, which is Leo's in it and he does a spectacular job in it. But it's more like an ensemble kind of cast. So you have lots of actors that bounce around that the story bounces around to, and it's not like the film solely rests on his shoulders. With Timothy Chalamet and Marty Supreme, it solely rests on his shoulders, and he crushes it in that film. So it totally makes sense to me for Timothée Chalamet to get Best Actor in that leading role. Best Actress in a Supporting. It's really cool, David. You got Amy Madigan as Weapons. You know the villain from Weapons, David.
Oh, the villain. Okay.
Yeah. So it was great to see her
Nice.
get that. Yeah, love to see some Weapons love in there. It seems like, oh man, honestly, it could very well be. I hope Amy Madigan gets it. She'd probably be the one I'd hope to get, but honestly, I think it could be anyone in this category. Elle Fanning is always fantastic. I really wanted to see Sentimental Value because it is about film in a sense, but haven't gotten around to see it. But if I were to guess, it's probably between Uh, probably wouldn't be Musaku and Tiana Taylor, but I really would love to see Amy Madigan get that. That'd be fun. Best actor in a supporting role, hands down, it's got to go to Sean Penn. He kills it. It's probably one of the best performances of the year. Sean Penn in One Battle After Another. It is so funny, but he is just, oh my god, he delivers such a such a pivotal performance. It's great. So I would love to see Sean Penn to win that. And then we get into all these other nominees, and we can go into. But yeah, David. So the big question was, what makes something a best picture? And that's a great question because I still don't know if I know the answer to that. Because yeah, it's a tricky one. Like, so I think what makes best picture is every level of filmmaking, not only at its highest level, when you talk about cinematography, music, editing, acting, production design, all of that, not only does it have to be at a high level, but that also has to work in tandem with everything. So I guess for me, what makes something a best picture is the harmony of all those. And when I think of what seems like the odds-on favorite to win with One Battle After Another, yeah, yeah, from top to bottom, that film deserves Best Picture. But then I also think to Sinners. And Sinners, like David, you were saying, like, well, like the genre about it, like what knocks genre films, and it's
I
it's
guess I
tricky.
don't understand. Isn't one battle after another in a genre?
Yes and no. Like when I say genre, I mainly mean is it like a I don't know how what I describe it as, but if it's like a hard genre, I would just say films of the ilk of sci-fi, fantasy, of the superhero, which is that of horror films. It's like films that are so it's I guess would you say like a niche genre? But I wouldn't call those niche. Maybe like subgenres, because you usually with every sort of film, there's a big genre, whether it's a genre or whether it's a drama or an action or a thriller. Yeah, that's like I said. I don't know if I've fully understood it, but it seems like films like I mean, yeah, like I'm assuming you expected Avatar to get a nomination for Best Picture.
I think so,
Yeah. Well, I
right?
mean, they got nomination for VFX, which they're totally gonna win. Well, I mean, the thing is with Avatar, the story isn't that crazy, and in a way, it is kind of a repeat in spots of the previous films. Regardless, I still loved it, but it's not doing anything too crazy in terms of story. Because at the end of the day, the story is what matters, and stories like One Battle After Another, stories like Sinners, stories like Marty Supreme, in my opinion, are better than Avatar. But
Yeah.
visually, oh my god, Avatar is yeah,
I
it's the
guess
one.
you I guess you can say that, but, like, when I think back to 2019, Endgame wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
That's
That was, like, the best movie,
well,
like
to you, and I mean, that's what's so tricky about this. It's like there's subjectivity within it. I get it, why it's hard to explain. I don't know. So, like, with something like Endgame, again, like, I think it comes back to story. The story isn't it tugs on nostalgia. It's a fun adventure. It's the culmination of 10 plus years, but it's just not that Oscar ilk. I don't know. If you
mm,
kinda get what I'm saying?
I s I mean, I think so. I think I understand to some extent.
Yeah.
Still a little confused, but
Well, I guess what I would say is the story has to be some sort of well, maybe it doesn't have to be complex because there are some because there has been some debate whether the films chosen for the Oscars are, like, the safest films, meaning, like, a film that isn't super spectacular, but also isn't, like, crap. Because there has been I know some people have been talking about some past winners, and it hasn't been, like, the most craziest film in terms of the experience of it, or I don't know. It's tricky because there have been some fast winners like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was holy cow, it just
mhm,
spectacular from top to bottom, which tugs on the genre type filmmaking with the sci-fi fantasy aspect of it and just redonkulous comedy. But again, I think I would tug back on just the idea of story, and it seems like it probably has to be some sort of complex story told in some interesting way with not only that, just top tier acting, top tier production design, top tier all that stuff. I guess that's probably where I'd, end at for my explanation for best picture. I guess David, like what describes best picture for you?
I would say I agree with what you're saying in terms of the highest level of filmmaking, from production design, from sound design, cinematography, acting has to be in there. And stories is definitely a big part. But just because a story is simple doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean I don't think it's worthy of being best picture. But like you said, it seems like complex stories are preferred as
I
opposed to
guess,
something
you know,
simple.
I would take that back then. So I wouldn't say that necessarily. I guess because I have seen winners that have not had like super complex stories, which is again, it's a tricky thing because I'm still trying to try and understand why what gets nominated for best picture, what makes something a best picture. It's really tricky. It's weird.
Understandable. I don't know how the decision is made. Like, is it only a select amount of people make the nominees?
Yeah, it's thousands of people. So
Okay, I guess
they
that's more than I thought. So, what makes up the Academy?
but
Movie buffs.
yeah, I mean, it's a legit branch, the Academy of Motion Pictures.
All right.
Yeah,
I guess that is what it is.
yeah.
Very interesting.
That's probably all we got for this Oscar topic. Still something we're trying to figure out in our endeavor into movie podcasting. So, if you guys have any comments to this, hopefully the comments don't get too spicy. And curious to hear your thoughts on everything Oscars. What makes something Best Picture to you? Curious to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, with that, then we're moving on to our next topic, which is an endeavor into the world of racing, and I was very flabbergasted yet well, just excited to see something like this come to the big screen, which the 24 hours of Le Mans. Is it Le Mans, David, or Le Mans?
Le Mans.
Le Mans? Yeah, there you go. Le Mans. Which I know of Le Mans from a little film called Gran Turismo, which I love Gran Turismo. And the experience of Le Mans in that film was awesome. So to see a film solely dedicated to that race sounds exciting. And it seems like we're getting it all in the perspective of this guy. I'm pretty sure who's kind of like our lead guy within this story, which it's all based on true events. This is all kind of like a documentary style approach. And I love that they marketed this for IMAX because, dude, I mean, to see this in IMAX, oh yeah, that's the way to experience a
Be a
story like
treat.
this. I was very curious, like what this type of film can do for the box office. And I know racing is a big sport, so I wouldn't doubt people will show out for this. This is filmed in Panavision, which was really neat. So just to know that they got a really cool style of filmmaking attached to this means they do care about this. And but David, what say you about this trailer for To Die For?
Coming off the heels of Gran Turismo and F1, two stellar racing films the past couple of years. I think this one is going to do well. It taps into the racing genre, but hyper focuses on one of the probably the most important historical significant race of the year in terms of all of motorsports. The stakes are high, it's dangerous, it's endurance. Like it's a 20 for it's 20 they race for 24 hours.
Which is insane.
um and hyper focusing on that, and it's all based on this is real. This is real events that actually happened, and coming to the big screen, it's going to be really cool. I mean, F1 basically was real F1 cars racing, and so to kind of have that but in the next high end racing genre in Le Mans, I think it's going to crush, and I'm really excited to see it.
So you think you'll go out to the theater and see it?
I think I will. It seems like the racing movies, I'm able to find the time for the racing flicks.
Yeah,
And this is one where it's like you gotta see it on the big screen.
you
You
gotta.
got it. That's the point. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And lots of history. I mean, this race has been going on since for the past. I think it's over 100 years. I believe that the 24 hour of
Really?
Le Mans. Yes,
Sheesh.
yes, and there have been some. There was the worst motorsport accident in history was at the 24 hour of Le Mans back in the early 1900s. I think they kept racing after this happened, what I'm about to say. So what happened was basically a car went airborne on the front stretch, and the engine and like most of the car went into the grandstands and killed like 80 people. It was a horrific,
Jesus.
horrific, horrific accident. And they like kept racing like for another like few hours. Like, isn't
Sheesh.
that's like absolutely insane. I can't imagine anything like that happening today. People, oh yeah, let's keep going.
We're
Like
like,
what?
we got a race to finish.
Yeah, yeah. So I think they eventually called it, but I think they kept racing for a few hours. Lots of history with the Le Mans, and it's gonna be really exciting to see this on the big screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me to see this on the big screen, that would totally be the get for me to go see this because racing, well, I'd say I do like racing quite a bit. And speaking of racing, the new trailer for Forza Horizon 6 came out this week, which looks epic. That's going to be set in Japan. David, you familiar with the Forza games?
Forza is Gran Turismo, but for Xbox, right?
Forza Motorsport, yeah, but they have another series called Forza Horizon, which is the more like open world fun version where you get to race
Oh,
with there's more customization, more like it's more pretty, yeah, but it looks awesome. It's coming out
okay.
in May on Xbox and PC first, and that's going to come on PlayStation later this year. So, in terms of racing, yeah, like I wouldn't consider myself I'm the racing fan, but I do like cars a decent amount and racing games a decent amount. I remember growing up with race games like, of course, Need for Speed, but Need for Speed Underground, Need for Speed Underground 2, which reminds me, or always reminded me of that freaking scene from Cars, when those freaking badass cars at night,
Yeah.
neon. Golly, that scene will live forever in our heads because I know you like that scene too. It was
Yeah.
it's so cool, but yeah, To Die For coming out soon. Uh, yeah, should be a fun time. Excited to hear what everyone thinks about it. Hopefully it gets good reviews. Hopefully it shows up at the box office. Hopefully people show up and we want theaters to make that dough. So go out and make your theaters dough, please. Let us know your thoughts on To Die For. All right, guys, with that down, we are moving on to our last topic of the show, which getting into A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Now, we filmed this on Saturdays, so the new episode 2, will probably be out before this episode drops. But regardless, we're going to talk about the season opener of this show, which I was elated by. Like, coming into this, first of all, Game of Thrones, probably still my favorite show of all time. David, I know I keep telling you about it to see it because it's just so fantastic.
Mhm.
And I feel like watching it with Kiara too would be quite fun
Okay.
because there's lots of shocking moments and moments that you could really relish in your shared experience with because it's really fun. And it's just a dense world with great characters and a great overall story that the stakes are at an ultimate high. Just a great time all around. And coming into this spin-off show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like curious if this was gonna feel of the same vein in the world of Game of Thrones. So this does take place 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones. And the big thing with Game of Thrones and the other spin-off show, House of the Dragon, is it's all about the throne. Who's gonna get the throne? The like how are these characters gonna get that position? And the ins and outs and all that they go into, and it's really just swindly and nasty in all the great and worst ways. But within this show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we are still within that world of Game of Thrones, yet it's still of its own feeling, it's of its own tone, which is really refreshing because I feel like a lot of us love Game of Thrones for that style it always brings us, but with this show, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's really charming, and with our lead protagonist, Sir Duncan the Tall, and how charming he is, and he's just a big doofus who's just trying to be a knight, who's trying to have that prowess, and just with how charming he is, he's so endearing, and like I said, like it's so refreshing within this world of Game of Thrones. We get a character like this, a protagonist like this, who we can really root for because in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, there are characters that you want to root for, but they're naturally pretty bad or just very steered in the wrong direction. But it's fun to watch. So again, as a season opener, this show was great. It was really funny because not a lot happened. It was just really about Sir Duncan the Tall just kind of wandering around and we kind of got an idea of where he wanted to go in this just being a knight and trying to get into this sort of situation where he can do so and really make a name for himself. And it was really cool because there were moments within this show or within this first episode that didn't feel like Game of Thrones, or they really did some really cool edits where they jump cut into some certain comedic moments which you never saw in Game of Thrones, but it still felt within the world of Game of Thrones, which is really cool. Like I think they struck a great balance of giving us what makes Game of Thrones great, but also giving us something new. And I think with this show, I mean, from what I've heard, it's been reviewed extremely well, and it supposedly only gets better. Now, the big drawback, and David, we've talked about this before, is the episode lengths. So the first episode was about 40-45 minutes, maybe a little less. But the next preceding episodes also, this is a 6 episode season.
6?
6, yeah. I'm pretty sure I know why. Mainly because this is a shorter story by George R. R. Martin. So it's not of the density of Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. So I guess I could see why, but also these preceding episodes are about 30 minutes. So
Wow.
yeah, it sucks at first here, but the more people are talking about it, they're saying it's great. They're saying it's amazing. So I mean, we'll see. From what I've seen from the first episode, I was very happy with it. David, curious your thoughts. Are you? I know you haven't seen any Game of Thrones type show, but is there anyone maybe you'd want to start out with? Because you could honestly start with any of these shows because they're all told out in different times. While House of the Dragon is 200 years before Game of Thrones, Night of Seven Kingdoms is 100 years before, and then Game of Thrones takes place after. So curious if you're excited to see any of the shows.
I think it's something I'll definitely check out. I was had the honor to show my wife Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy, for the first time. We watched The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers. We were gonna try to get to see Return of the King extended edition in theaters because it's in theaters this weekend, but it's so ridiculously long
It's so long. Dude, when
that
we saw
that
Fellowship,
planning.
holy cow, it was so long.
Fellowship's a drop in the bucket compared to Return of the King.
Oh,
Well, I wouldn't say a drop in the bucket, but Return of the King's like another hour longer. That's how long Return of the King is. In terms of the extended edition, theatrical release is probably like 30 minutes shorter.
yeah.
But the thing about it, because it's so long, like you have to plan just like it's a day. It takes, it's gonna take over half your day. You think about
Yeah.
8-hour work day, it's over half that time of watching the movie. Now, I really like the movie. And it's too difficult with our schedules to make it. But when we do end up seeing it, it's gonna catch that fantasy bug in her and probably in me again too. And I'd love to pick up maybe a Game of Thrones. And it's good to see fantasy coming back in a Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Hopefully, this is a good test. Hopefully, it does well, and we get more epic fantasy content. Like we're getting a new Lord of the Rings movie coming out. So yeah, I think this is something I'll probably check out down the line once we get caught up.
Yeah, very excited for these next few episodes. Yeah, so we film these on Saturdays, tomorrow, Sunday. Really, really excited for it. It's cool because they always HBO does their after show kind of behind the scenes section, and which I've not seen the one for the first episode, but apparently it was pretty funny because there is a very specific scene that happens in the very beginning, which is jaw dropping in a very hilarious way. And the guy who plays Sir Duncan the Tall was like, "I apologize for what you have just saw," because all I'll say, David, it was fun. It was it was a fun exertion of a piece of brown thing, indeed.
All right, that's
Yeah.
that's always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. Always fun taking a dump. All right, guys, let us know about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. If you're excited for it, let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, that brings us toward the end of this episode of the Rich Salad Show. Let us know your thoughts if you're excited for what's coming. Lots of great stuff coming this week. Lots of great stuff coming this year. It's a packed year of a lot of cool things, and we're all excited for it. We're gonna talk about it here on the podcast. Always be sure to like the video, subscribe if you can. We would really appreciate it. David, what say you about today's episode?
Pleasure as always. Love getting to talk with you about all the movies and TV that we love. Just keep rocking and rolling. Like and subscribe. Means a lot.
Indeed. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Bye.